Hey, Josh Shipp here, founder of Youth Speaker University. And I'm coming at you today with a little something designed to inspire you and piss you off a little. Don't hate me. 3 things every speaker should unlearn. Yes, I did say unlearn, meaning we speakers often make these 3 mistakes without even realizing it. And let me be very clear right up front, I am guilty of failing miserably in all of these 3 areas, which means I'm a bit of a screw-up and thus uniquely qualified to talk about it. Right there on my LinkedIn profile, screw up, all right. All right, so here they are, 3 things every speaker should unlearn. Number 1, stop speaking to the audience and start speaking to the individual. Have you ever experienced speakers who sort of talk past you? You know, they don't even acknowledge your individuality and their points never really hit home with you. They fall flat and you leave uninspired. You see, this is what happens when we as speakers think that we are speaking to an audience. The truth is, we are not speaking to an audience. I mean, it seems like we are, but we're actually not. We are speaking to an audience of individuals. So it's not one person to 500 people, it's one person to one person times 500. Now, this is a minor shift in thinking that actually creates a huge shift in your effectiveness. Think about it this way. From our perspective, we do see a group of people gathered. So we have the tendency of not looking at individuals and their faces. However, from the audience's perspective, all they see is you. All they see is a speaker. So as far as they're concerned, this is truly a one-on-one conversation. You make a joke, they respond with their laughter. You make a point, they acknowledge it with silence or with sort of nodding their head to let you know that they're with you. So here's a simple solution if you're guilty of this. Simply lock eye-to-eye contact with an individual while you're speaking. Take 5 seconds, look them in the eyes, and then move on to another individual for another 5 seconds. Now, I know that 5 seconds is going to be kind of awkward, like gaze into the eyes of some stranger, like, oh, hold me, I love you. But here's the thing. That individual will trust your message on a deeper level because it'll feel like you're actually talking to them, not above them, not over them. Number 2, stop caring so much about the audience's feedback. A speaker who does a good job and gets caught up in the good reviews is in trouble, because here's why. If you get caught up in the good feedback, you're also going to get caught up in the bad feedback, and it'll poison you. Remember this, you are not as good as your good feedback, and you're also not as bad as your bad feedback. Whether you are a decent, great, or amazing speaker, the majority of the time, the individuals listening to you will respond the same way. They'll appreciate your message, and then frankly, they'll move on with their lives. If we care too much about what they say, we will suffer from a roller coaster of emotions, and it will affect your message, your personal life, and your sanity. So in my opinion, the attitude you should have with every speech is this. Do your absolute best, Be open to receive genuine compliments and constructive criticism from trusted sources. Tweak your message after you hear this feedback just a little bit, and then move on with your life. That's it. Just do your best, bring your A game, continue to make minor improvements. Remember, practice makes improvement. But please, for the love of God and your sanity, stop being a slave to the feedback. Number 3, stop thinking that you are changing lives. Now, I know this one's a little bit counterintuitive, right? So hear me out. Speakers don't actually change lives. We like to think we do. Someone in your audience might come up to you and say, "You changed my life." Don't believe them. We don't have the power to change a person's life. Only they can change their own life. Now, don't get me wrong. As speakers, we play an important part. We plant ideas in their minds. We give them the tools, hopefully the desire to change. But at the end of the day, they change themselves. We are nothing more than change agents. We stimulate their thinking. We challenge their status quo. We provoke them to do something different. Here's the problem. If you think that you change people, you're actually overstating your role. Your message is only transformational if the individual who listens to it allows it to be transformational. Make sense? So therefore, your role, my role, becomes very simple. Communicate the information and pray that the listener has the courage to take action. As speakers, we have to remain humble. But everything about what we do fights against that humility. Think about it. We're raised on a platform and our audience is beneath us. We're apparently the ones with all the answers and there's our audience taking notes. We have to work really, really hard to remain humble. But don't ever forget that the listener deserves the applause for changing their life, not us, right? And let me remind you, I was guilty very much so, of all three of these mistakes. I used to speak to the crowd and not to the individual. I used to care far too much about what other people thought of me. And I used to think that I produced the change that my listeners experience. And to be honest with you, all of this was rooted in immaturity, insecurity, and pride. Now my guess is you might be guilty of some of these traps as well. But here's the good news. You can change. Your listeners will be better served because you change, and your message will be far more powerful. Now here's a question I have for you. What are some bad habits that you would like to see preachers, teachers, and speakers unlearn? Please comment below this video with your responses. And keep your comments classy. San Diego, take care. Hands up, play my song, butterflies fly away.